Welcome back. This is the SMG podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Jack Wengroski, number 23 on the list. And with me is...
Melissa Maxey, number 13.
Now, I think I have a conflict of interest here because I'm number 23 and this was the Scimitar, number 23. He's trying to take my number.
They're after you.
That's right. But he's no longer with us, so I don't know if that counts. So maybe I can retain my number. So we see this Samar kind of interacting at this bar with a Persian guy. Walks upstairs, and she's doing this over-the-top laugh. And Samar, she barely cracks a smile. And here she is, like, completely, playing this over-the-top part. Gets the guy into the bedroom, grabbing the key. They're making out. Everything's hot and heavy. Close the door, and the next thing, this guy is falling, like, 10 stories down onto a waiting Mercedes. The guy just parks his car. He and his wife are like 2 steps away and splat. And the lady man and...
And Red says, a Persian man walks into a bar, meets a beautiful woman, has a few drinks. Next thing you know, he's falling from a 12-story balcony.
Oh, that's right. 12-story. I said 10. So, yeah, I was waiting for the punchline. It's like, oh, yeah. 12 stories. Oops.
Top nuclear scientist from Iran, and she makes him splat. Yep.
That's this episode had some more really good quotes. Last couple, I think Liz had a couple of the better quotes this last time, and this one had some really good, memorable.
Yeah, it had really, really good dialogue between Red.
And so they go at this conversation. They're like sitting together, and what did he say? Was it Chico Farrell? He's sitting through the albums. It's an old, like, old jazz record store.
Uh-huh.
I took a left turn at Chico Farrell, and I between that and something else. God,
he got trapped.
Right.
Yeah. It's
such an addiction, and the two girls are sitting there going, like, okay, why?
He's like fingering the vinyl,
right?
Smelling the paper.
It's like, why did you call us both? Because you could kind of hear the.
Well,
almost...
Liz was very miffed. She was like, what? You know how she is with her jealousy.
I know.
She made a point to say something to Samar when they were walking into that place. I was like, ooh, jealous Liz.
And that's the funny part is she plays always being so angry at Red, and then, anytime...
Another girl steps in.
Wow.
Yeah, he's mine.
Liz is a little catty.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, she was a little feisty this episode.
So we only have one more episode until, the fall finale.
Yeah, and then we're not going to be back till February.
I can't believe that. We just started.
I know. Everybody's like, no, don't make it can't last that long.
We finally got Tom back, and, those puppy dog eyes, and, you can't leave me here to die, and he's
totally milking her. He's totally just trying to use, psychological warfare against her. And I don't think it's working. He's trying as hard as he can, but she's already made her mind up.
Look me in the eyes before you shoot me, please.
Oh, I rolled my eyes during that part.
It's like, really? She's got you in chains on a bunk. The chick's pissed.
I'm like, is there even a bathroom in there? I'm like, no.
Well, he's got there's a toilet.
He's lucky that he has his little Navajo blanket to, cuddle up with.
Yeah, he's got his little blanket. He's got, a little one of those, little half mattresses that you see in dorm rooms or jails.
He's lucky he has shoes.
I know. And how does he trim that sweet beard? It should be all scraggly, and he should be all nasty looking.
Where did Liz find that boat?
I don't know, but the funny thing was, I really thought that Red or somebody had set it up where they said, there's some agency that's talking about I don't know, what was it, some barnacle and endangered barnacle, which is funny because barnacles are just things that, like, attach to boats.
I know. Well, you gotta know that Red already knows she has him.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
and he's just letting her play, with him.
Yeah.
As a distraction. And we're just like, Liz, Red knows everything. You can't hide anything from Red. Like, nothing.
Well, especially when she goes back to Red and she's got one of Berlin's sources. And,
oh, yeah, and when they're in the limo and she's given up the source that Tom gave her, and he's like, well, how'd you get that information?
Right,
I don't know, some guy. She, like, made up some guy's name. I don't know. Some so-and-so told me. He's rolling his eyes. Okay, Liz.
Yeah, it's like, whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
okay, I believe ya.
Nobody's fooled.
Exactly.
So let me go back. I was telling you about some of the comments. Was there? Let's see. I can't find the one about. Oh, the numerous times that Liz has been in her underpants, and she's in the hospital. She's got next to nothing on, and then they've got a nice big robe around Wrestler.
Yeah, Wrestler's fully clothed, and Liz is running around in a tank top. Oh, she had a t-shirt on. It was a t-shirt and her underwear.
Okay. So it's a lot of undies going on. I mean, for real, I'd rather see that than Wrestler's undies, but there does.
Well, I thought it was pretty cool how they got into that place to begin with, because I thought that scene where they were chasing or going to get that scientist, and they picked him up, and then that motorcycle shows up and throws a flash bomb, or it was what was it?
Yeah, that was
it wasn't a bomb.
It was a flash bomb. It had just that quick, like, impact but non-lethal.
Enough to make them, like, lose their hearing.
Yeah.
And their, surroundings. Yeah, because he lost consciousness and flipped his car. But I thought, so Liz, she's like, Wrestler's drugged up. He's like a junkie. He's totally, like, out of it. He hit his head. He's totally, like, lost it. And so she's gotta, like, get him out of there. It was just like, it was like a reverse Batman scene. Like, she was Batman and he was Robin. She's, like, doing everything for him. He can't even, like, do anything. She's like, steals the scissors from that nurse after faking, having to get out of bed and then getting that cast off her arm, finding out she's got those pins in her arm. He like nailed pins in her arm to make her feel like she'd broken her arm. Yeah. She pulls those pins out. I was like, oh. That was
the whole thing was, the setup was, if you're following, they roll the car, they're unconscious, they wake up in this hospital, everything's kind of, set up, and she's in a cast, her arm really hurts, Wrestler's completely out, but then, after the doctor leave, she gets a phone. Of course, I don't know.
He let her use the phone to call the FBI so that he could track what she was saying.
Right.
So he could record what she was saying about what he was looking for.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And so, she gets the phone and she remembers there's this, foundation makeup sitting on there, which, our villain, the Scimitar, had used quite profusely on his hand to cover up the big Scimitar tattoo.
Yeah.
Which, if you're gonna be like a super spy criminal assassin, you know what? Maybe getting the big giant tattoo on your hand was not a great idea.
No, because everybody will be able to tell who you are.
Yeah. So, and that's another thing too. One of the things, that they noticed was, okay, right in the beginning, Samar kills the Persian guy.
Mm-hmm.
And let's fast forward just to the very end, where Samar gets her revenge, and then we're supposed to think, ooh, she's compromised her integrity.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, what's the difference between...
throwing a guy out of a 12-story building and then shooting the guy execution? I mean...
Execution assault, right. Except at least the first one was government sanctioned, but tell me that the Mossad would not have sanctioned that one. Especially after he's sitting there like, oh, what are you going to do? You know, you're just going to turn me into the FBI and CIA. She's not American. You know, she's, you know, a Mossad agent, and, you know, they're not exactly known for their, like, inside, you know, by-the-book type rules.
Yeah, no.
It's like, really? You're going to push Samar to the point where you're going to dare her?
Oh, yeah, I mean, Samar, she's, like, ruthless.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's as ruthless as Red.
See, I think they've gotten too used to, like, Liz, who you can approach kind of emotionally, but...
And manipulate.
Until, like, then all of a sudden she decides that, you know, she can take on the sniper from next door. And then it's like suddenly...
Like, game on?
Game on again.
Yeah.
We need to get Liz on some, like stabilizing medicine, because...
She's a little bipolar?
Yeah, a little bipolar. It's like... Yeah, she'll take on the guy that could have killed her at any point during the last 6 episodes, but, you know, she's totally bamboozled by anything else that's going on.
Well, at least she picked out, you know, after... I mean, it was weird, because they were at that hospital, or fake hospital, and then Samar, like, rescues them, and the next thing I know, they're pulling up in front of, what was that, hotel or convention for the scientists, because the scientists went missing. And, like, all of a sudden, they didn't even, like, get any triage. They were, like, they're, like, still working. You know, and Liz at least picked the guy out. But I knew it was obvious. Some guy wandering down the street with, you know, a luggage rack with one piece of red luggage on it. I'm like, that's a huge tell. I'm like, she's in the luggage!
And I can't believe that after that little chase that he didn't take that luggage with. They just kind of left it and pulled it out, and...
I wasn't expecting his crew to show up with machine guns and be shooting at I wasn't expecting that. So that was...
But man, that set up such a great scene later on when, you know, they go back to that first guy's house where he had made contact with the other Iranian guy.
Yes.
And
the one where Red was, like, shooting golf balls at his house?
Yeah.
That was awesome.
And had taken pot shots at him. Oh, man, that was, like, the best thing in the last few episodes.
I know. He's coming out in his towel after getting a massage, and Red's launching golf balls at his house. I was like, oh, it takes me back to my childhood.
Did you aim a lot of golf balls at neighboring houses?
I lived on a golf course. It was pretty much like that.
Golf balls flying around all the time.
Yes.
Iranian militiamen and...
You'd be surprised.
What the heck is going on in Idaho?
It's a fun place.
So, let's see, what else did we have going on? So we got Tom. We had a couple things going on with, what's our computer guy's name?
Amar. Yeah, he did a little MacGyver action. I was pretty fascinated with. Like, some wires, some paper, computer terminal. He's gonna get that thing.
How about that
camera working?
Right. And he almost forgets, like, oh wait, if I activate this, you know, they're gonna see me. So he remembers to put the tape on. They get a bead on this agent that they're chasing, and then boom, it was the switcheroo. They find out this agent that they're following never existed, so he basically, you know, led them right to his trailer, which, you know, led them...
It was a trap.
It was a trap to get them to identify which of the
guys was a scientist.
The scientists, were they Israeli, or I forget where they were from. Anyway, it was 3 nuclear scientists that were working on the super secret American project, and so 2 of them were whisked away, but this one, you know, has a talk. So they totally give up, what's going on in here.
Mm-hmm.
I tell you, for an FBI super secret, tank, these guys have really dropped the ball quite a bit lately.
Well, it doesn't help that Reddington's, leading them all over the place. He's got them running all over the place, doing all sorts of dirty work for him.
Yeah, that is true.
Well, he's also got his own agenda. Because in the meantime, Red's with Zoe, and they're having a picnic on the back of her truck, her food truck. And he's feeding her, what was it? Anchovies?
Anchovies, yeah. And she said, I really don't like anchovies.
Or wine. She's like, this would be better with beer.
No, well, he said, try something. Yeah, they're really good. Try them with the wine. And then later on, she said, I think I'd rather have the beer. That was funny.
Yes.
Good.
And then we realized that he drugged her, because she's like, oh, what's going on? And then Dembe shows up, out of nowhere. Does Red, have a mic on him all the time? Because Dembe, or they're telepathy or something. Because they know where each other are at all times.
So, yeah, I thought they're setting this thing up, and we talked about it last time where he was looking at the video of the little girl, and to me, it really did look a lot more like her than it would have, let's say, Liz with the lighter hair.
But if you remember, I said it's not.
Yeah,
I didn't think that it was.
And, apparently you were correct.
Yay!
So, they whisk her away, they've gone away, and then at the very end, of course we're skipping all over the place here.
Yeah, we are jumping all over the place.
We get another meet with Berlin, who thinks that he's picking up some more weapons from another dealer, and in pops Red, and without any support other than Dembe, but my vote's always with Dembe.
Yeah, me too.
And so when the guys, look, this is all a misunderstanding, and he's all lies. Okay, yeah, you can't believe anything, Berlin. We get it. And then when he said, something about I will make your daughter hurt, and he pulled her out of the car, I think, oh my God. You are not going to tell me that he's going to pull his own daughter out of the car and go, okay, well, here she is. What are you going to do?
Yeah, no, I never thought that for a second, because I always believed that she was, Berlin's daughter. And so when he pulled her out of the car, I was just waiting for his, final call, and he just laid it down. He's like, she's not my daughter. She's yours. And I was just like, yes!
Yes.
Finally! The biggest bomb.
And, that's the biggest tragedy of the whole thing, is that he was so tortured by all this for so long, and this revenge that has kept him alive is really completely for nothing. But, there's okay, really, well, who set this a whole elaborate thing up that they set us, against?
We've had speculation online about that, and people are talking about Fitch. Because remember, we haven't seen Fitch since season 1.
That's true. So, if
this would be a perfect opportunity for Fitch to come in for the final season before for the fall finale, and lay down some totally different avenue they're gonna go for, or
but
something.
Here's the problem with it being Fitch. I could see Fitch playing them against each other. It solves his whole problem with Red. Because then, if Berlin kills him, it doesn't activate any of the protocols that release the evidence that
Red has in place.
Right. Because it's not if Red dies, it's just if they kill, I think that satisfies the rules of the game. But even so, what could Fitch do? Come in, or what could Red really do to Fitch?
Well, what would be the reason for it? Why would he? I mean, is he doing it for a distraction? Is he doing it to keep the two Berlin and Reddington busy so that he can do his own agenda somewhere else?
I don't know.
Because the whole time they've been focused on Berlin and Reddington have been focused on each other. That there's probably other stuff going on that they have no idea or they're not paying attention to. Fitch is laying down groundwork so that he can take over the world or something.
Well, here's the thing, though, is this thing and with Fitch and Red has obviously been going quite a bit longer. The thing with the daughter has been going on.
Oh yeah, for a long time.
For a long time. Where the Fitch thing, I think, is a more recent development. Not to say that they don't go back, but obviously there's something that Red has done recently. That Red has something that keeps this whole group.
Or Fitch did something recently that Red caught wind of and now has evidence against him.
Well, I don't think it's just Fitch, because the whole group is kind of on edge with this thing. They're not just supporting. It was Fitch. If it was just Fitch, they would have, the relationship would just be between Fitch and Red, but this whole underground group has, is really held at bay. So it is some secret society, probably within the upper levels of the government. And I think that Fitch is going to be brought in to dig up who's ever really behind setting up Red and Berlin. Either that, or it's going to be another, thing.
Well, I think, that may be the case, but I think that Tom knows more information, obviously, than... She's obviously not putting the screws to him. He's not actually being waterboarded or any of that, He's not being tortured. Right. So he's just leaking out information to her. She's not... so the boat's cold. You know what I mean?
I know.
He's got a beard.
I'm gonna freeze.
To keep him warm. Right. He's not gonna freeze. And so he's got tons more information. So my guess is that in the next episode he's gonna escape. He's probably been planning it for a while.
I don't know. I think if that would have been successful, he wouldn't be kind of trying to get her goat. He's, anytime now when she comes in, it's like, oh, how can you be doing this? Just shoot me, or look me in the eyes when you shoot me. I think if he had a play, he would have already kind of...
I don't know. Maybe this is part of some master plan that this was going to happen.
And of course, since Liz is really kind of out of the loop, and she thinks she's still kind of in it somehow, but really, we've already got, Red already has the, for looks like the next episode, that Red has the Berlin situation
under control.
So what is Tom going to give us? If Tom was working straight for Berlin, and, it's maybe not clear that that's the case.
I don't think that Tom is working for Berlin.
So that does lead us into something deeper. Here's a possibility. What if Tom was actually working for Fitch?
That's what I think.
Yeah.
I think that he's working for... I don't think that he's ever worked for Berlin. I think that they just... maybe he was... he knows Liz's story. He knows Berlin's story. So maybe... just the stuff that they said about Berlin in the first season were just, to throw us off to think that he was actually working for Berlin.
Yeah.
But we know that Berlin was looking for Red's daughter, and they knew, if they know that Liz is Red's daughter, then, he was there to protect her. He wasn't there to kill her.
Right.
So somebody put him in place to protect her, because they know who she is.
Well, maybe so, but the whole thing just doesn't make sense anymore. I think they've kind of forgotten what the original intent was. He was put in place to keep an eye on her, but at the same time, I don't get it. He's supposedly never had feelings for her and could have taken her out at any time. So, okay, so what? Where do you go with that?
That's why I think that they're going to bring this other organization that he actually works for in.
Right.
And they're going to expand it out further. It's not going to just be about Berlin and Red and their, whoever put them against each other. It's going to branch out into what actually is going on.
So,
why are all these, what's the deal with the blacklist? They have never really dealt with that. They show us these, I want to say monsters of the week, because each week they show us some, rabid doctor, that's torturing and, like, doing crazy stuff to people. You know,
and,
so it's almost like that...
And more of Liz in her undies.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
The striptease would have been nice if it would have been Liz. But no, it was her doppelganger. So I don't know, maybe they're gonna, maybe the next episode is gonna lead us into the second half of the season where they're totally gonna take it to a whole new level. And I think that Liz, we've been talking since season 1 about Liz and how she's emotional and she, bipolar and all this stuff, but this episode, she really wasn't like that. She was a little bit more grounded. She wasn't really flailing all over the place like she has been in the past. She wasn't overly emotional. She really got down to business. She's becoming more of the profiler that I would expect her to be.
Well, but did she actually profile this episode?
Yeah, I think that she did, because when she was held captive in that hospital...
Oh, that's right.
She did some profiling in there. She, between the nurse and,
Well, was that profiling, or was that just good detective work? We kind of saw... We saw the makeup, we saw some good acting, but, so that was a good heads up, definitely, but as a profiler, if this was an episode called The Profiler, we would have thought, okay, well, what happened to the profile?
Well, I don't know, when it seemed to be doing a lot more, like, putting the pieces together.
Right.
Kind of, that's kind of what profilers do, so... it's more than she has shown in the past for what she's supposed to be doing as an FBI agent. So at least they have her heading in the right direction. Well,
I think they're going to have to do a little more. I caught it on TV.com. Says that they have a big move. It's a massive hit. And obviously going to be going into next season. But after the hiatus, they're talking about moving the show to the more competitive Thursday night slot.
Seriously?
Seriously, which also means that the voice, the voice goes right into the blacklist, and that kind of brought along another probably few million viewers. But now they're going to put it to that really competitive slot because the show has been such a hit, and which I don't know. I mean, I like the slot where it's at. It's a little later. Maybe they'll make it a little earlier, but I don't understand the move unless they, now that this has got momentum.
Is that even confirmed? That they're even going to do that?
Well, here's what I got. Speaking of the fall finale, it's a big one for the Blacklist. Obviously, show is a massive hit, not in danger of being canceled. However, with the long hiatus coming and the move to a much more competitive Thursday night slot, without the aid of the voice, the show probably can't afford to annoy its audience without providing some semblance of clarity. So that's the direct quote. And let me see if I can... let's get some sort of move here. Blacklist news. So while I do that, what do you have for... the wrestler dumping his drugs.
Oh, yeah! Wrestler. Well, he didn't have much going on except, because he was in that bed in the fake hospital for, most of the episode. And, his little scene with Liz at the end of the episode where they talked about, how she would miss him if he wasn't around or whatever, and she was, everybody was talking about that because everybody wants Wrestler and Liz to get together, except for me. But, it was a little sentimental scene, and then he tossed his drugs down the sink.
Mm-hmm. I really thought that they would do something a little better than that. Like, Red would whisk him away, and we'd have some dramatic detox kind of thing.
That's what you wanted.
I know!
No, he's gonna go cold turkey. That's gonna be painful in the next episode. He may not be functional. So Blacklist, I found something online and it showed the ratings.
Okay.
And it said the Blacklist had 9.2 million.
Nice.
And NCIS LA had 9.1 million. So.
Really?
They're at the top they're at the top of the ratings.
Yeah, it's funny. So I don't understand why you would kind of mess with what is really working, unless they figure like you've got another show that could use that kind of boost from The Voice.
I don't know. Why would they
take the training wheels off?
Gosh, they're gonna pit the Blacklist against Shonda? That's gonna be, I don't know.
Well, that's kind of why they invented DVRs, but
I have to use my DVR. That is for damn sure.
So,
because I'm recording so much.
I know. So, yeah, I mean, to me, it was the perfect Monday night kind of, fill-in.
I liked it. I like it being on Mondays, just because you roll off the weekend. And it's kind of something to look forward to.
I know.
Instead of rolling into the weekend with the Blacklist. I want to roll out of the weekend with the Blacklist. But, they have their reasoning.
So, let's see, what else?
So what else? What other cool things happened?
We have, we had a little more action from Lennox. He seems to be getting, a little stronger and better, and,
because when they went in after the scientist, and because they knew that, he's like, where are the guards? And he's like, there should be guards, and so he had a couple of FBI agents with him, and they went into the room to find the scientist. But he still has his cane. I mean, he had a weapon on him, but he wouldn't have been able to. I mean, he could have got a few shots off, but he wouldn't have been able to have any sort of one-on-one. So I'm wondering if they're going to reveal in the next week what's going on with him.
Yeah, I mean, don't forget the fact that they've already kind of let loose that he's got some sort of fatal disease or some condition going on. Maybe after he got jacked up, they found some other things going on. But yeah, we can't discount the fact that he's got some life-changing event. Are they going to write him out? Are we going to save him in the end, and Red finds some cure for cancer in the Congo, and
well, it could be one of those types of things where he sacrifices himself or something.
Right.
I hope they don't kill him off.
I don't mean he's just a good leader for the team.
Yeah.
That's the problem with so many of these modern day shows is they'll set up the cast and they kill off almost everybody in the cast. They get a whole different cast, and then they wonder why the same things don't work anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see where, in the first episode, they had this, all these things, all these people surrounding Red, and killed them all off except for Dembe.
Yeah, thank God Dembe's still around. He is fabulous.
He is. But, you had, the butler, you had,
his whole team was, decimated.
So it really kind of left, but I think that did kind of work because it kept the focus on Red, and Red's got the perfect kind of silent partner / sidekick that, it's, anything can happen because you got Dembe in the background.
Yeah, I was reading the Entertainment Weekly recap for the episode, and it was really kind of hilarious. She talks about how, here it is. How many steps until Liz and Red are out on their own on some weird Bonnie and Clyde mission, bad guying their way through the guys she deems worse than, Berlin, because she gave Berlin to Reddington so he'd kill him, but Reddington had his own plans, right? Because he brought the girl out and said, hey, she's not mine, she's yours. So this might be a little miffed that you know, 'cause she was hoping that Red would be, you know, the typical Red, and actually, like, kill the guy, and he's gonna still be around for a little while. Yeah, it says, leave it to Red to flip the script just when Lizzie is ready to go dark Lizzie.
And it's funny, she had that kind of wrestler moment from last week where she's, you know, like, yeah, you know, they were in the limousine, and who was she ready to kind of dismiss?
I can't remember.
Shoot, a little brain dead. But, yeah, basically, you know, she was pretty much taking the stance that, yeah, if there's some casualties, you know, okay, well, you know, whatever. So, apparently everybody's getting, kind of going on Red's side here. You join Red's team and you become, you know, kind of on the dark side. Wrestler is experienced. Now we're getting, you know, Samar has been compromised, although I don't know how you compromise Samar with, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, you know, I don't really buy it, but, you know, it's, you know, look, I mean, it's an hour show, you know, one day a week. How far are you going to be able to go with?
So one of my favorite things that Red said when he was sitting on that lounge chair at Ali's house.
Yeah.
You know, he comes running back there and he's like, I want a passport, I want $50,000, I want to get me out of the country. And Red's sitting there and all of a sudden Dembe's right at his back. He says, all this running, I'm so relieved when the people I'm chasing come to me.
Oh, that was awesome. That was one of the best Red moments.
That was the best. I loved it.
We haven't had one since that, and since when he was in that big red and glass case, and I forget who the bad guy was. But he was kind of like almost like a second tier bad guy that kind of came out on his own, and
yes.
You know, some of the interaction with that, it's like, man, that was just classic Red.
Yeah, those moments. I just like rewind and like watch them over and over again.
Yeah, Samar, you know, just not only did he figure out he was going to come there, but the fact that Samar had popped up, and, you know, there is Red and Dembe just sitting there with the scimitar in the chair, bound, and it says, I have a little present for you.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. It's kind of funny because Basad wouldn't kind of celebrate Christmas.
No.
Maybe more Happy Hanukkah. So I guess we've got one more, and it looks like they're gonna do something with the next level with Tom.
Yeah, Tom's gonna escape. You want to know why I know this?
Why do you know that?
Because, because they posted pictures for the next episode, and it shows Tom with Wrestler, and they're not in the ship.
So maybe, you know, maybe she figures something out and says, okay, you know, go get whoever you're going to go and get, and, you know, I think...
Yeah, maybe she lets him go. Maybe after she finds out that Red doesn't kill Berlin, she lets him go.
Oh, that could be. Or, you know, Red steps in and says, you know, hey, I've got a plan.
So EW, they have this picture of Tom, and he's, you know, on his mattress, he's all chained up, and underneath the caption says, don't rock the boat. Oh, Tom, I'm so not glad to see you, and yet I have so many questions. How did you get here? Will Lizzie kill you? Set you free? Forcefully remarry you? Will any of it matter at all? Virginia Sherwood, we love you.
Oh, that's funny.
Yes.
And then the next big story is what's going to happen with Red and Berlin are going to team up and find out who's behind it. And your last theory was they're going to be going after Fitch.
Yep.
Which it would be a nice little tie-in, and we get Alan Alda back. It'd be
yes, we need some Alan Alda.
Yeah,
we need Alan Alda and Red to get together and have a little banter session so they can throw, like, lobs of, like, like, awesome words to each other.
And anything Alan Alda says is just great. I mean, he could talk about dust, and I would just go, oh, that is so cool.
He's a legend.
He is. All those years at MASH, you know, with the little witty comments and all the cocktails and.
I want him to have some more witty comments with James Spader on the screen. I want them to have some witty banter.
I know. Well, we've had enough flipped over SUVs and
bombs.
Liz in her undies. So somebody complained that they barely put the camera on Wrestler. It's like, well, duh.
Well, yeah, nobody's watching Wrestler when she's running around in her underwear. Hello.
That's right. It's a trend I could back. That's all I'm saying.
I bet everybody could describe exactly what Liz is wearing and how she was wearing it. Like, wouldn't even be able to tell you where the bandage was on Wrestler.
All right. Well,
okay.
On that note, so is there anything else?
No.
Have we wrung this thing dry?
I think so.
All right, well, let's put a bow on this. This was the SMG Blacklist Podcast, brought to you by the Southgate Media Group. Go to www.southgatemediagroup.com, click on our shows, go to iTunes, review our show, follow us on Twitter. My Twitter is @JWingrosky, and Melissa, our show is at...
Blacklist Pod.
And what about Stitcher and Instagram, and there's something else too?
Instagram, Tumblr, and Facebook are the Blacklist Pod.
Okay.
And my Twitter is MSMaxi.
All right. Well, that puts it all together. And guess until next time.
See you then.
If you would like to donate to help pay for this and other Southgate Media Group podcasts, simply go to our website, southgatemediagroup.com, and click on the donate button. It can be as little as $1 or, well, as much as you want. Help keep this fun going by supporting this and our other shows. Thanks again for listening, everyone. You're the best fans in the world.